The Spanish Announce Table.
It is the Spanish Announce Table. It is our yearly Christmas special, if you will. Dear Santa 2023. And why is that, Dear Santa? Because every year we go through a wish list of three, our Dear Santa, right? Like, please give us this for Wrestling Christmas, right? Oh, yeah, I'm Tim. That's Tom. And in between us, we've got the human duplex machine, Taz.
Isn't that great? That's just such a fun
Yeah.
photo. That is such a fun
human
photo. Oh,
duplex
look at
machine.
it. We got a thumbs up because of Apple and their overriding of Zoom calls. So that's cool.
Oh,
there
I
it
like
is
that.
again.
Okay.
Yep.
Nice.
Apple's
Yeah.
awesome.
So if you're listening back on the podcast, you're like, what are these guys talking about? You should have been watching us live on YouTube. We do it every week at 7:11 on the dot, Thursday nights, the one true time zone, Mahomes Central Time. Tom, pro wrestling, man, we've got a lot to talk about. AEW Dynamite this week was a blast. We're going to talk about that. We're going to run through the who's and the what's and the wins and the wheres of that and break down what we thought about it and ask you, the listeners and viewers, the same. But man, after that, when we get into this Dear Santa, I'm excited about my list. I'm sure your list is pretty solid. And I think they're reasonable. I have reasonable requests from Santa this year.
Ooh, I'm excited. You know, one thing that we should do is maybe keep track and see if any of them actually come true, like starting now.
I know.
Because again, also for anyone joining in the live stream or listening back on the podcast, we have exciting news next week to tell you. So be on the lookout and definitely be available to listen or watch next week's episode, because some major news in the world of Tim and Tom broadcasting, pro wrestling, entertainment. So excited to tell you about all that next week.
We'll have another one of these, right? And then we'll have our year-end review like we do, and then we'll tell you, hey, here's what you can expect next year with, as we've said, it's going to be a rebrand. We said it last week, so this will be interesting.
Yes. Yep. And while we are celebrating, again, for those that are watching along, go and get your ZOA. I got my holiday Dwayne Johnson fruit punch, 0 sugar energy drink. It tastes amazing. Dwayne Johnson, better known as The Rock. With a fantastic beverage and a good Christmas choice if you need something to pick you up and celebrate the season. So there you go, a little Dwanta Claus for that ass. So excited to do that. Tim, you got any exciting plans for Christmas? Yeah, you got any exciting plans for Christmas?
We are going down the road a little bit to Manhattan, Kansas, the old hometown. There's some friends of the family that are like my wife's sisters, essentially, right? They've known each other for 30, 40 years at this point. And we will be going and hanging out with some of them over the weekend, right? For a day or two. And then we'll be back up in here in time for the, traditional family Christmas here, where we'll give each other the many gifts, right? Of baller status. What about you? Oh. You doing anything cool? You going to go like climb something or?
My brother is coming into town. This will be the first time he's been in town since my wedding.
Full blood brother, right? Like this is.
No. I'm an only child. This is a stepbrother.
I didn't realize that.
Child.
I thought you had like an actual brother, but this is like not actual.
I am an only child. I have a stepbrother from my stepdad, and I have 2 stepsisters from my stepmom. Fun thing about that is when they don't know each other and you're in the mall in the 90s, one might find the other one attractive, and you got to stop that shit immediately. That happened once. It was really weird. I was like, no. And they're like, who is that? And I was like, that's my sister. Well, they're like, that's my sister. And I was like,
yeah,
really? And I was like, yeah. I was like, damn it. Well, the mall, it was really the 90s, because where else are you going to go in the 90s?
Oh, I know. Yeah.
So, we're going to do, so my brother's coming in town. My mom has like a full rundown. So he has a blended family. And so they have 5 total children. None of them have left the state of Florida. They all live in Florida. None of them left Florida. So they're coming up here. So my mom is going to do the Plaza and Westport and Crown Center and Union Station and World War I, like all of that. We're going to jump in and out of that schedule, along with Emily's brother from Omaha is coming down with their 3 children, plus her other brother with those 2 children. And we got to hop in and out of that. And then I got my dad that's an hour away. Got to hop in and out of that. So Got a lot
That's
of
a lot.
bullshit. Yeah, a lot of
That
bullshit.
is a lot. That's a lot to do. That's a lot to do. So you got the Omaha, Kansas City, Florida connection running around. That'll be a fun time. Nothing
Secret
bad will
time,
happen
though?
with that.
Secret time though.
Mhm.
If anything gets too like I don't want to fucking do it, this tumor is gonna be super painful.
Oh yeah,
You know what
I
I'm
can
saying?
already tell. It's been bothering you. Like son of a shit, guys. I gotta go sit down.
I can't
Left
go.
my medication at home. I gotta go.
I can't
Yeah.
go. Yeah.
Yeah.
This fucking thing is gonna be here for life. even when we cure it, it's gonna be here for life.
He's like, fun fact, they cleared me a year ago.
Yeah.
Like, everything's
Oh yeah.
good.
Yeah, I hid the fucking news that the medication that I need to pass has been FDA approved. Oh, I told no one about that shit because no one knew about that. Oh boy.
Well, he told me, but I can keep a secret clearly.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not scheduling things with my mom and all these other people. So yeah.
Yeah. You know what?
Yeah,
I kind of
so,
like Tumor Tom. Like,
exactly, yeah.
Let's keep it going.
Yeah. So
All right.
yeah, so
I
we
might
got
call
a
that in
bunch
and be
of
like,
stuff.
Tom, I need you to use the tumor and help me get out of a jam.
Yeah. Oh man, yeah. Oh, by the way,
All right.
side note, one thing though that we did do is we got new couches. We got the Love Sack.
Ooh,
You know
okay.
the Love Sack brand. Now we didn't
Yep.
get it with the speakers, and it has that available. We will be getting that, but we wanted to see how it would lay out first before we got speakers in there because it was another like $5,000 or whatever. But
Couches
my
are
wife,
expensive, dog.
oh yeah, I think my wife
Oh.
already hates it though because I call him the ball sack, and she doesn't
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
I think it's funny. Look
But
at the
you
ball
got to
sack.
use the like when you tell people like, yeah, it's Love Sack. Be like, coincidentally, that was my nickname in high school. But where are you going?
Yeah.
She'll be like,
Well, and
stopped
here's
telling
the
my
other
friends
thing.
that.
Well, yeah, of course. Well, and here's the other thing. They just told us it shipped 22 boxes.
Phew. We needed a new couch recently and went and saw that Sticker Shock, and we were like, we don't need a couch as much as we think we need a couch right now. But
Oh, yeah.
that's coming soon. Yeah.
Yep, it's coming.
But
The thing
that's
that we
not what
love
we're
about
here
it,
Oh.
yeah, but the thing
Yeah.
I will say though, if you are interested in couches, the reason why we chose this brand is you can take it, the fabric or the covering off and wash it. So we have dogs and they lick everything. So you can take that off, wash it, and then put it back on. So that was the real
starring
selling
this.
point. Yeah.
Because
that's
if
the
you
whole
use
thing
our
is-
promo code, you can get 20.
Yeah.
No. See how easy that would be, Love Sack? Reach out to us.
Yeah. reach out.
We can help you out. We'll give testimonials. We'll go over to Tom's house.
Mhm.
We'll hook you up. We will hook you
We'll
up.
do a wrestling match on the couch like we're 10-year-olds.
On the couch. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we can get color because you could take the thing off and you could wash it.
Oh my God. We're selling it for you there, ball sacks.
Mhm.
Come on.
Mhm. Yeah, come on, ball sacks. We'll shore that up, but you know what I mean? Or maybe we won't. Maybe it'll help. So
Yeah, maybe it's the
what
nickname.
will help is talking about wrestling, right? That heals the wrestling fan's soul, right? It's
Mhm.
because, quite frankly, listen, I'm going to be honest to you wrestling fans out there. I know you don't have a lot of friends. So that's what we're here for, to give you more of those, right? Jump in our community here, the Table Nation, which I guess maybe we'll change the name of that. Just join in, right? Chat with us live when we do the show, or reach out to us on Threads. Use hashtag #ThreadTheTable, and just add us, whatever. Just talk to us. Tell us about the wrestling things you want to talk about. We'll talk about them here on the show, but we are enamored with AEW, so we like to talk about AEW Dynamite. Tom, you ready for that?
Oh yeah, and last night was a fun one. We got arguably, don't want to be prisoner of the moment. Arguably though, the best segment of the year, backstage segment. We'll get to that. And also we got maybe the upset of the year because I don't know if I necessarily had that one picked, and we'll get to that too. But we start off last night's AEW Dynamite Holiday Bash, by the way, with the coolest man in pro wrestling, Swerve Strickland. But before Swerve Strickland comes out, Prince Nana comes out. And we're out here in Oklahoma City, and the crowd is eating it up. We're all swerving. We're all doing it. We got the we got the stomp. We got the, all of it.
All the things. All of it.
And Swerve Strickland then, the coolest thing about Swerve Strickland's entrance, I will say. So the thing that I like the most about it isn't necessarily the dancing. The dancing is awesome. The dancing is fun. The best part about it is the contrast of Prince Nana being the hype man, the Flavor Flav, and then Swerve Strickland no selling it and acting as if, why isn't everyone like him? Like, you guys should all be doing this because I have now entered into the arena. You know what I mean? So that's my favorite part about it is when Prince Nana is doing it and then Swerve just walks right past him and no sells it. That like split second, that's the coolest part for me.
Swerve's kind of like, yeah, that's great for you, man. Like, I'm happy you're getting over. You know, like,
well, because if you saw their social media, I think it was AEW as well, but it was definitely Swerve Strickland. He does the Swerve Strickland Prince Nana dance. But it's not as cool when Swerve does it because Swerve's cooler than the dance. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, I get it. It was in Jacksonville, the Jacksonville Jag cheerleaders and all of that. But like,
Swerve's cooler than the dance, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Swerve's cooler business. I ain't here to dance. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Dancing I'll do in the club, but you ain't invited for that, right? Like, that's the VIP room.
Yeah, that's a private party, not the tag team. But that should join the Mogul Embassy. That would be a fucking great tag team to join.
Yes. Private party becomes private party.
Yeah. You ain't in this.
Then we'll get them in real suits, right? Like being smooth. I don't know if these kids can pull it off, but maybe.
No, because hear me out. But we're doing a side quest. We'll get back on track because we haven't even talked about the first match. But here's where it could be cool: is you have the Gates of Agony, right? They're the muscle. They're the we're fucking you up. Brian Cage, the other two guys, abs on abs, right? But Private Party is in the Prince Nana camp where they're like, yeah, we Swerve, but they like get shit done, but they like are comical about it. They're like hyenas. Think of it like in the Lion King, the hyenas that would laugh and stuff. Like they would get shit done, but like you little jackals, like that's their their role. Yeah.
He's kind of their boss, but like he's supposed to be in charge of them. He's like, keep an eye on them, right? Yeah. And Nana's like, what? And he's like, make sure they don't get into too much trouble. And he's like, I don't. Okay, right, and then they're running. And he's like, "No, do this, guys!" Right, and they're like, "Okay,
all right, this is fun." Yeah, but then they like when shit needs to get done, like they get it done, or they're like the intel. You know what I mean?
The one touch I would add is, like they're crazy. They do that, and then like you said, when shit needs to get done, they're doing it, and they took one thing a little too far, and they're like, "Oops."
Yeah, exactly. Oh,
man. When I drive, sorry, back. We'll leave. Right? Yeah.
They kick
just a touch too far, right? Yeah,
exactly.
Right. And then they
that would be cool.
Stage left right out of here. Yeah.
All right, let's get back on track. So Swerve Strickland makes his way to the ring, and he is taking on last night Rush, which Rush is fucking cool too. I do like him. If you're gonna keep one of the two between him and Andrade, I'm keeping Rush. I like Rush way.
Yeah, 100%.
And in this match, like I don't want to go through
Toro Blanco, right?
Yeah, exactly. And he does the thing just like Andrade does where they lay down, which it was cool. One of the spots was Rush does his sides, lay down with the arm up, and Swerve Strickland's like, well, I'll just put that in an arm bar. Like, what the fuck's up?
Look, if we're being honest, he's younger, bigger, stronger, right? Like than Andrade. So yeah, if you're trading one in and out.
I think he's a better wrestler. Again, moves don't matter to me, but
I've enjoyed his matches more.
Way better than Andrade's. Yeah. And so again, we get all the fun spots here. Like I mentioned, we get the bull's horns, knee buckles. We get the side sit into an arm bar, all of that. But we get the Swerve stomp at the end of the match. Winner, advancing with 12 points, Swerve Strickland. So what that means at this time is he is advanced to the semifinals, as has Jon Moxley, who has 12 points. At this point, we really are paying attention to if Jay White wins, Jay White gets into the match and it becomes a three-way, or I think Rush actually gets eliminated at this point. It's something about Rush, but
something like that. But I do remember, I just remember, and I needed to pull it for sound clips and didn't, but they were going like, well, nobody wants a three-way. And he's like, yeah, he definitely don't want a three-way. And I was like, I got to get these clips.
Yeah, it was great. Yeah, they knew it all night. Hence what's in between us. All night. They knew exactly what they were saying on the broadcast, which was awesome. Swerve gets the victory. He advances to the semifinals. And then we go backstage, and in a bit of breaking of kayfabe, although I guess they worked it into a storyline, so we'll see. Chris Jericho was doing a promo by himself backstage, and he tells us about Kenny Omega's diverticulitis. He's going to be out indefinitely. He says that the Golden Jets opportunity against Big Bill and Ricky Starks at the moment won't happen. So that match will not be happening at World's End. I don't know if that means that Chris Jericho gets another partner or that the tag champs get new number one contenders. So that's interesting.
I hope that. Look, that match was going to not be good.
Well, I mean, Ricky Starks and Kenny Omega can have fun, and
sure,
Big
but
Bill and
just
Jericho
everything
could
already,
do things.
all of it was cursed. This was not
Yeah.
going to go well. It just wasn't going to happen.
You know, this isn't one of our categories for next week, but one of the things I was thinking about though is biggest cursed wrestler or most jinxed wrestler. And Ricky Starks has had just the worst luck. I mean,
Yeah.
he goes through the whole 10-month, it felt like, program with Chris Jericho that really led to nothing. Then he catches fire with CM Punk and they start to do all this stuff with Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. But then CM Punk gets fired. So then he pivots and has an amazing strap match with Bryan Danielson. They do that stuff. Then he gets kind of paired together with Big Bill, makes that work. Now they're tag champions. And then to end the year, he gets a big title match against Chris Jericho and Kenny Omega, two of the bigger stars. Not anymore because Kenny Omega has diverticulitis. So poor Ricky Starks. Tough 2023 for him. But yeah, so he says Kenny will be back, and when he is, the Golden Jets will be back. And so then he says, you know, I bid you adieu, and does the whole thing. What do you think?
What a weird turn of events. First of all, notwithstanding, you know, in the Fight Forever game, the F5 move is called diverticulitis. And I was like, like looking back, I was like, ooh, guys.
Well, you want to poke fun.
Yeah.
You want to poke fun. That shit can come back at you.
So that's the shitty thing with Kenny Omega. And yes, man, poor Ricky Starks. Starks and Bill, I think we still got some money to do something with, but man, the tag team division has just become nothing.
Well,
does it exist?
Well, yeah. I think, you know, if we were to do our picks and all of that stuff, I think I said it last week. I believe what we were going to get out of World's End was a very good match with Ricky Starks and Kenny Omega, you know, going as hard as they could. And then the Young Bucks come back somehow, cost the Golden Jets. And then we do some type of triple threat at a AEW Dynamite, something like that. That's what I was thinking was going to happen. We'll see. The Young Bucks are still kind of MIA. They stopped doing the BTE. So we'll see about that. But here's my thought on this. So you had Kenny Omega lose the championship to Hangman Adam Page, and he was gone for 7 months, I believe it was. I wasn't keeping track, but it was multiple months, right? We finally get him back. We do the 6-man tag that he wanted to do with the Young Bucks. Great. Check that off, right? But now he's got diverticulitis. And that's something that obviously Brock Lesnar has wrestled with since, right? He had to retire from the UFC, but then went to WWE and then continued a career. But I'm more saying that that's kind of strike 2. So why don't we just do all of the most amazing, awesome things with Kenny Omega before he has to go, right? Because you don't want strike 3 and then think to yourself, oh man, we never did the match with whatever, or we never had the rematch with Danielson. You know what I'm saying? And so that's where, like,
so we need the
Golden Jets thing.
So we need the goodbye tour, is what you're saying? We need the
not the necessarily goodbye tour, but like kind of how Bryan Danielson said, hey, this is my last full year. And so now I've done a strap match with Ricky Starks. My fucking eye is broken. And
I'm putting shit on tape, right?
Yeah, I'm
like
putting
that's what we're
everything
doing.
I can on tape. Yeah. I feel like that's what Kenny Omega needs to do, because you don't want strike 3 and think to yourself, oh man, we never got whatever, the last man standing match or whatever it is with whoever, you know?
Well, what any viewers and listeners need to do is get in the chat and tell us what they're thinking about, like Theo P is doing. He said, week. I was expecting to see T-Mac and Captain Awesome power bombing each other outside in the snow. No snow. Otherwise, we would have been doing it. Jeffrey Still says, oh, shit, didn't think you guys were doing a live today. Well, why? We're the best. Why would you think we wouldn't be doing that? He said, no more Golden Jets, more Golden Lovers. Well,
that's another guy who's kind of talked about maybe he's wrapping it up. So Ibushi, and that's another thing, right? If you wanted to do Ibushi versus Omega, do that shit in March. Don't be waiting thinking you got that in 2025. You know what I'm saying? And then Theo, it doesn't snow anymore. It's global warming. You know what I mean? What's snow?
Yeah. It's
That's not a thing anymore.
55 here today.
Yeah, 60 degrees.
Yeah. And Jeffrey Seals, if you're just joining in, then stay tuned after this AEW Dynamite chat. We're going to do our Dear Santa wish list, and we want to know what you want from Santa for Wrestling Christmas as well. But
same with you, Theo. Yeah. All right. So then we get back in the ring, and two guys with 0 points in the Continental Classic, Mark Briscoe and Jay Lethal. They hook it up here, and they're wrestling. And this was good. Kind of told the story of two guys who've known each other for a long period of time.
Yeah.
I think the most interesting thing here is Mark Briscoe gets the victory, but Jay Lethal does the like handshake, honorable, you got one over, like doesn't do a heel type of thing. And so you think about that contrasting with Jeff Jarrett and Sanjay Dutt and all of those guys, Team TNA. Do you think we possibly do a loser leaves town, Jeff Jarrett, Jay Lethal kind of thing?
I wouldn't like, hey, if they weren't like, what the hell did you shake his hand for? And you should go out and stomp him, mud hole in him, and yada, yada, yada. And he's like, dude, calm down, Jeff. Right? Like, geez, what is it with you Jeffs? Right? And then he's like, Jesus, man. You know what? Those guys on the Spanish Announce Table were right about you. I bet I'll say that. I bet I'll say that. I bet he will say that. Yeah, that would be fun. I wouldn't hate that. Interesting that they pointed out the announcers again, who I think were on their A game last night, like you had pointed out, hit on that Mark Briscoe is like, hey, listen, I understand. I'm treating this like my rookie year as a singles competitor.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know, if we are pivoting to more of a sports-based storytelling, I think we need to start telling what is the major difference between someone who wrestles in a tag team and someone who's a singles competitor.
Oh, more on that later in our Dear Santa.
Yeah. Yeah, because, you know, not to trample on what may be your thing, but like, you're kind of telling me that singles people can do it because Kenny Omega and Chris Jericho never really had a tag team, and here they are. They're number one contenders. Big Bill and Ricky Starks never even knew each other 8 months ago, and they're tag team champions. So we'll get into that later. All right, so then after the match, Mark Briscoe wins. As I mentioned, they do the handshake, and they go to the next segment. And it's a recap of MJF joining the National Jewish Sports Hall of Fame, which again, pro wrestling isn't a sport, but good for him. Hey, isn't that fun?
Yeah.
We still got.
If you're going to call it Sports and Athletics Hall of Fame, then I'll be like, all right, fine.
You're going to call it Sports and Entertainment. But anyhow, all right, then let's get to the fun stuff. Yeah, there it is, right? Then you put Tom Hanks in there. Samoa Joe.
Ryan Gosling.
Yeah, the fucking Iron Claw guys, which I'm going to see this week. I might give you guys a review of that. So stay tuned to our social media. Going to go see it on Saturday. All right, back on track here. Samoa Joe walks out and Joe says, hey, you know what's interesting? Every time the devil attacks someone, we see it. Attacked Hangman, attacked The Acclaim, attacked Jay White. But the one time we didn't see him attack someone was when it was MJF, who was just laid out with a beer bottle just so nicely around his forehead. Yeah. Now, here's where I would push back on that. Isn't the cameras controlled by the production team? Like, that's a Tony Khan.
Right, yeah.
Wouldn't you think Tony Khan and MJF are in this?
Yeah, and can't we, there's footage, right? Can't we find footage?
Yeah.
What happened?
Well, look, another thing that we don't need to do too much of a deep dive on, but one thing that happened to me and I saw on Threads and other social media platforms that happened to others is there's plenty of little blackout moments where we're watching a match and the match the feed stops and then we get back to it. And that wasn't part of the devil thing. That was part of shitty production. So maybe that's the story we're telling. It's that they just have shitty production and they didn't get the MJF attack.
And you know, if we remember not too long ago, Tony Khan was kind of putting out on Twitter, it was like, hey, this is not a me, this is a them.
Yeah, this is TBS, yeah. Which they're in contract negotiations. So look, side quest, I've heard and seen the rumors that WWE, fucking go to Warner Brothers. I would love for AEW to leave TBS and TNT. They have been nothing but mid this entire time. So if they get a deal with USA or Fox or fucking great, NBC, good. Because fucking Warner Brothers, Discovery, whatever. The synergy stuff is great. I like, but everything else, miss me with it. You guys suck.
Mhm.
Anyhow, let's get back on track. So Samoa Joe goes, isn't that interesting? How, got some questions for MJF. So MJF, why don't you come out here? And MJF is like, hey, I get laid out, but you said you were going to watch after me.
Yeah.
So
where were you?
Are you watching after your property like you watch after your diet? Like, what the fuck is up with this? Which I thought was pretty good. And then they get kind of, accusation. They get face to face. And then the little devil guys come out, right?
A bunch of them.
Yeah, a bunch of them. And they're punch each other.
Yep.
And then they clear the ring of the masked people. Side note, again, I get it, but also just take one of their masks off. You'll find out who they are.
Yeah.
Who's that guy? Anyhow. But the lights go out. Then the devil man pops up on the screen. And it says, and I wrote this down, it says, where can you go? Who can you trust? Next week, will you accept a challenge for your ROH Tag Team Championship? Are you a hero, Max? And then Max goes, all right, Joe, I know. And Joe just takes the microphone and goes, we accept.
Yeah. Fuck this. Yeah. Uh-huh.
So here's a question I have for you. We don't revisit this, so we'll do it now. And also I got a side question for you. So side question is, why do you think the devil keeps asking MJF to put up his ROH World Tag Team Championship titles?
Yeah, and not as world heavyweight champion. Well, because it's a long con, right? He's starting with this to get to that, right? But it's weird. He keeps doing the "Are you a hero?" thing, and we touched on that a little while ago. What I thought that could be, with is Adam Cole in peril or something like that. Yeah, there's still a lot of layers going here on what this could be. The one thing I will say is, things in silence don't hit so well because you got guys in the crowd being like, Deborah, grab me a beer on your way to the fucking hurry up, right? Like, and it's just, it taints the whole thing, right?
Yeah, it's Bully Ray, someone yelled, I heard.
Yeah,
that's where you got to have some music, you know what I mean? Something that plays behind it if you're just going to do text.
Yeah, do some lights, like keep people going like, ooh, right.
Here's my theory on this. It's because I think we'll get to who we think it is, but if it is Adam Cole, it would make sense that Adam Cole would say, I love those tag team championships. So I still want that thing, right? Before I take the championship away from MJF, I still want my tag championships. So I will have someone do my bidding, then take that. Then that's mine because that's what I've been wanting. And then the world title will take care of itself with Samoa Joe, whoever it is. You know what I mean?
Could be.
So now, Tim, let's do the weekly question until we find out who it is. Tim, this week, who is the devil? And ladies and gentlemen in the chat, you can also put your pick of who is the devil. Dun, 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 dun.
Roderick Strong.
Ooh. That is interesting. You want to go to your one shot and say it again? Because then it adds more, pizzazz.
Roddy Strong is the devil. Right,
yeah, there you go.
Yeah, right. There we go.
Yeah, I like that. I am gonna say
Theo P says it's Vince McMahon's brain in a John Cena clone body.
I mean, duh. Come on, we're not.
That is who it would be if we were watching a WWE version of this story.
Yeah, I mean, come on, Theo. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're not going with obvious answers. We're trying to have some fun here and try to think outside the box. Okay.
Yeah. We know it's Hornswoggle. We get it.
Right. Duh. Hornswoggle sitting on Matt Cardona's shoulders. We know.
In the trench coat.
Oh, that'd be funny.
Yes.
I still think, for whatever reason, the world championship titles, that angle makes my dumb mashed potato brain go to Adam Cole. But I still think it's Jack Perry. I still think
Yeah.
And now it's becoming more and more because, like I've mentioned, you can't just have him walk out and go, "Hey guys," because he's just going to get drowned out with CM Punk chants.
True.
So you have to have him come in doing something big. That's it.
Well, and yeah, there's no way to mingle him into this storyline now without him being the guy, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. I just, you know, like when you look at like, who could it be? You're just kind of like, oh, all right. We'll see, right? It could go either way here.
It could go either way. Yes,
I strong think Adam Cole could be the guy we're talking about here too.
Yes. The only apprehension I have there is, and this goes to Kevin Owens saying something on Monday Night Raw, is I do think Adam Cole's injury to his ankle was like legit, real shit. You're not doing anything for a long time. So I just don't know, unless it's a you can't touch me kind of thing. And then when he's finally healthy, that's when the payoff is.
Yeah, you'd be the devil from afar with a bunch of minions out there doing your...
Yeah, so possibly, but yeah, so the injury is the only reason I say no, but it could be wrong.
Jeffrey Sills, who says a few years ago tag teams mattered, but now they're passing that belt around like a blunt, which is true. But he says the devil is the last outlaw, double J, Jeff, JARR, double T. I went to the one shot for you there, Tom. I always forget to put myself on the one shot. I was putting you on there. When I look back, I'm like, oops.
Yeah. Leave the chat, Jeffrey.
Leave the chat. Like, listen, I know you Jeffs try to stick together, but like, he ain't the one, right?
Yeah, no, I'm kidding. Don't do that.
No, please stay in the chat. Please don't go.
Please. Yeah, I'm only joking. Yeah, so we'll see. Again, we probably will get another fun question next week of who is the devil. So keep playing along as we recap AEW Dynamites.
Yeah.
All right.
The thing that I like to point out too is, you know, they all keep talking about like, well, now we've seen the devil attack Hangman, so we know it's not Hangman. Be like, no, what? If I'm the devil, I could stage an attack upon myself. Everybody's still in play. In my eyes.
The funniest thing is still that he drove the car and then said, "Put him through the car I drove."
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I gotta take the rental back.
Bought the insurance, you know. Yeah, we bought the extra insurance.
Your own car, you fucking idiots. That's why it could be Jack Perry, because he's fucking dumb.
Right? Yeah.
Oh, that's great. That's
fun.
Great. All right, so we go backstage after that, and Renee is with the best friends, and Rocky Romero is looking at everyone, and he's like, I'm looking for some opportunities. And Orange Cassidy's like, yeah, I got it. All right, Saturday or Friday. Rampage. Let's do this.
See you there.
And everyone's pumped. Like Trent's like awesome,
yeah, they're like
Rocky.
slapping him on the chest. Like, great job, dog. Yeah.
Chris Statlander's like, this is great for you.
did
And
it.
Renee's even like, good job. And he's like, wait, what the fuck just happened? So we'll see how that
goes. That's not what I meant, but yeah, that'll be a fun match.
Yeah, that'll be good. And then we get a highlight. One of the highlights of the night. Next up, we get a match between Rio and Saraya, but that's not the highlight. The highlight is Timeless Tony Storm joins the commentary table. And that is where we get, as you could see, what is in between us, the human duplex machine. We also got another just awesome
Taz just
line.
played right into that too.
Yeah,
he's just
like,
like, no, that's right. Of course. Yeah, that's exactly what they more or less. That's what they call me.
Split level Jones, I think he said. Yeah, I got a little split level Jones here. Just which Jones? I love it. He's like,
everything is Jones.
Yeah, a little broken leg Jones over here. Like everything is Jones, and I think that's great. The other great line though from Tony Storm is she looks over to Tony Schiavone and she's like, Tony, when Sting's not here, you don't have much to say, do you?
Yeah.
Just like, God damn. That's just great.
Yeah. Tony Storm is raising up one of my favorites in the wrestling industry very fast. Like, giving her free reign to just be this character and throw barbs is working perfectly for me.
Awesome. Yep. And so in this match, we get Rio versus Saraya. Winner will take on Timeless Tony Storm at World's End. To the surprise of no one, we get Rio wins. I am not going to look. If you like Rio, that's what I'm doing for you. I'm trying to be positive and patient going into 2024. As I've said a billion times, Wrestling's big enough to where you can like her and I don't, and that's okay.
I also forgot Saraya existed. They're former world champion.
Saraya's doing the fun thing. Well, I don't know if it's really fun anymore, but the thing with her and Ruby Soho and 2.0. Because remember, we want Magic Matt and Saraya to actually get together. Remember when we thought of that idea? God. So they're doing that stuff, and that's fun. I think a love story, and we'll get to my Santa stuff in a little bit, but I think a love story thing is great, especially on a Rampage, for example. So here's where they fucked up, though, Tim. So since the dawn of Timeless Toni Storm, everything's been in black and white.
Yeah.
Everything has been in black and white. Even when we go back to her on commentary, it's black and white. And this is where you got to be better, guys. You can't say you fired some production guy and then the first week that guy is gone, and I know he's post-production or whatever, but still, when Timeless Toni Storm is in the ring with Rio, it's in color. And Rio's attacking her, and it's in like you just fucking missed the boat, man. She even does her pay-per-view matches in black and white. Like, the fuck are you guys? Man, come on. That was the biggest miss of the night. Is it just took me out of everything. Now, when Toni Storm does leave the ring and Luther's holding her, we do get back to black and white. Mariah May comes in and hits Rio with the title. Toni Storm acts like she's never seen Mariah May. Like, who the hell is that?
Yeah, I know. I love it. They were like, she's been running around with her for months. What is it?
Who is this? Who is this charlatan? You know, she's even asking people in the crowd, like, do you know who that is? Like, we know who that is.
So fun. Toni Storm is the best.
Toni Storm's the best. And I really like this Mariah May thing. And now that we've taken the kind of detour of now all of a sudden Toni Storm doesn't even know who she is, maybe that gets some different feelings from Mariah May. We'll see. I like it. I'm interested in it. All right. Then we go up to the commentary table and Tony Schiavone interrupts the show because he has a prepared statement from Christian Cage. And I'm not going to go through the whole highlights of it, but essentially he tells Oklahoma City to shut up, tells Toni Schiavone to read it how he should. Don't be a hack, all this stuff. He said he took Nick Wayne on vacation, and that's why he missed the show. And he said he'll answer Adam Copeland's challenge for World's End on Collision this Saturday. So we'll hear from him Saturday night on Collision.
I love that even through Tony Schiavone's disgusted tone, you could still hear Christian Cage's voice just echoing through that entire reading, and it was perfect. Yeah,
it was. Yeah, Christian Cage is just hitting grand slams right now. Fucking love him. Love him.
Jeffrey still says, I love Christian faxing in his promo.
Yeah, that's how you have to do it. I mean, it's such an asshole move, and I wouldn't expect anything less from him. Like, that's what I love.
And then, and to credit, like, Tony Schiavone reads him shitting on Tony Schiavone.
Schiavone's the best.
Could have just skipped right over that.
Nope, has to read it. All right, now let's go into what I thought was the segment of the night, and arguably, again, don't want to be a prisoner of the moment, segment of the year. Samoa Joe and MJF are backstage, and they're arguing, and MJF says, Joe, you ain't a great security guard. And he says, I'm going to find the devil, so get out of here, right? And so Samoa Joe says, fine, then fuck you. I'll just let you go. If you don't think you need me, then I won't be a bitch around.
Then. Right.
Yeah. And so MJF starts to walk away from Samoa Joe, and then he sees one of the goons' mask. And it's sitting right in front of the Mogul Embassy's door. And so he knocks on the door. Prince Nana answers. MJF grabs him, gets right in his face.
Yeah.
And then Swerve is like, what are you doing with my property? And then Prince Nana goes, like scurries off, right? And we get just line after line after line. I mean, both. First off, Swerve Strickland is cutting down MJF, and you expect MJF to like have a retort ready, but before he does it, he does the fucking song first.
Yeah,
He's like, Swerve, Skirt.
Yeah. What are you
Garments.
skirt?
Yeah. And he's like, "Oh, I'm just kidding. It's your turn." No,
Yeah.
actually, it's mine. And then he goes again. But yeah, then he started to, because it caught me off guard. He's like, "Swerve, swerve." And I was like, "What is he doing?" And then he's like, "Garments." And I was like, and he's like, "I'm kidding." But yeah, love that. We get, yeah, like I said, we get MJF saying, "Hey, your song isn't playing, so obviously you're not over right now."
You're right.
We get Swerve Strickland saying, "You do tryouts, I sign contracts." We get, "Hey, thanks for driving me around, MJF. You were the best chauffeur." All this, they used to be an MLW, which I think I've told this before, but like my first exposure to Swerve Strickland and MJF was an MLW show on YouTube where Tony Schiavone was calling it. On commentary was MJF with the same lines you're hearing today. And then Swerve Strickland lost the championship and then started pulling out his hair. That was my first exposure to those two guys. And I was just like, these guys are awesome. So anyhow, again, we're getting all these barbs back and forth. And MJF essentially says, "Hey, maybe you're the devil." And he's like, "Hey, look, I'm not the devil, but I'll bring hell if you want to." And MJF before that was alluding to like, "I keep hearing you begging for all these championship shots," which he is, right? He's like, "Keep hearing you begging for it, but like there's levels to this here in AEW.
Yeah.
You're not on mine." So what did you think of all this fun?
That's all great. And like it was, you're right. There was no misstep, right? They both were just, nobody like hit a fucking bunt, right? On that.
Yeah.
Like it was just back and forth to the point where they were like, okay. And it didn't even feel like they were going to fight. It was just kind of like, we'll fucking see each other when that time comes.
Yep.
Except like when Swerve's like, basically like, unless you want to keep this being a problem, and then we get the fucking door opening and fucking, the steroid SWAT team is there ready to fucking throw down,
Yeah. And then the Samoa Joe walks back up. He's like, "Hey, we got a problem here." And Swerve was like, no, we're good. Everything's good. And then Samoa Joe's like, "Good. MJF and we've got things to talk about." And you still see like them both side-eye each other as
he said, "We got other business to tend to." And he's like, "All right, go handle it."
Yeah, exactly.
Go on, yeah.
Said, bye.
I'm not stopping you.
Yeah. And look, I again, as everyone who's listening probably knows, I live post on Threads and a little bit on Twitter during AEW Dynamite. Everyone, well, Threads is.
Yeah, Threads is.
Everyone exploded with Swerve Strickland needs to be the next champ. Swerve Strickland needs to be the next champ. So, Tim, I'm not saying, let's do our picks for World's End, all of that stuff. But if you were to predict who the person is that dethrones MJF from this long, historic AEW title reign, who is that person in your mind?
I mean, Swerve is a good choice. I would do a little more of what we just saw here over a little bit of time to build just an animosity that has to come to a head, right? And put it into a situation where I would almost get it flipped back to MJF being the heel and making like, "Swerve, you're never going to get there, dog. Like, sorry, you're always going to come up short. You just can't. Sorry." And then, like maybe after we've maybe lost this Mogul Embassy, right? Like I'd flip some time, but that would mean a lot of time with MJF having the title though. So I don't know.
Yeah, that's the hard part, right? Is he's had it for so long that unless he's doing a Roman Reigns type schedule and missing a couple shows to make this championship reign last longer, I don't know how much time he got with it.
Yeah.
And the other thing that's hard,
maybe Swerve's the devil then.
Well, but that's what I say. The other thing that's a lot of this holds on is whatever the reveal is. If the reveal is a triple Grand Slam all-time moment, well, that person needs to be the person who takes MJF out. But if it's, oh, okay, and then MJF,
it's Mustafa Ali,
right? Yeah, and then it's like, oh, and then just MJF retains over the devil. You know what I mean? Selfishly, someone asked this. It was like, who do you think it was? And I've said selfishly again, the story that has the most money. If you just look at the roster and how it's constructed and who the personalities are, and just the quickest way to make the most money with the best promos, in the business. I still think you do modern day Ric Flair versus Dusty Rhodes with MJF playing Ric Flair and Eddie Kingston playing Dusty Rhodes. Like that's the money to me. Like if you want, again, we've talked about how the everyman goes up against the boss. Well, we're tired of the boss, right? But the everyman goes up against the spoon-fed rich kid.
Right.
We have that story for dawn of time.
Buys into that.
Everyone.
Right wingers buy into that.
Yeah,
left wingers
exactly.
buy into that. You know what I mean? Everybody's
Elementary,
in on that.
middle school,
Yep.
high school, work. Yeah.
Everybody
everyone
hates
has
that snobby motherfucker.
Well, and even in the contrary, like you said, there are definitely pockets of this country and viewing audience who says these fucking lesser thans want my things. Fuck
Right.
you. And they
Yeah.
love MJF, right? They're going to wear the suits and put on the fucking sports coats and stuff, you know?
True that. There is those, yeah.
Oh, because I mean, honestly, go back and there's a great. I don't know if it's on the network anymore because I don't know if the network exists on Peacock, but it was on the WWE network and it had a show called Rivals, and you go back and they chronicle the rivalry between Dusty Rhodes and Ric Flair, and there are like not a lot, but like 10 to 15 guys at these shows dressed up like the Four Horsemen, and they hate Dusty Rhodes because they want the money and the women and all that. So like you could definitely get that today. I definitely think that's available.
Tom, I got to pause you and go to the chat because we have a celebrity in the midst.
Ooh, okay.
Yep. It's Adam Pearson. Adam Pearson says, Swerve is so hot right now, I think we have MJF beat Joe and have Swerve get revealed as the devil. He is so hot right now. And man, it could be Swerve, right? It could be Swerve. Almost anybody's in the thing. Adam Pearson is so awesome, by the way. Join in the chat. Everybody should be like Adam Pearson. Join in and give us some words. Adam Pearson, I don't know if you caught last week, we have some big news coming up at the turn of the year. And anybody just tuning in, we're going to rebrand this show. So stay tuned for more on that later.
Definitely.
Next week, we'll reveal more details. But, yeah, man, Swerve, if it's not Swerve, I don't know a whole lot of other candidates I think that I would point to and be like, yeah, okay, they should take the title off MJF.
Yes, from that aspect, 100%, I agree. But logically, that would be a WWE move. Because how in the hell was Swerve the devil at the same time he's breaking into Hangman's house and standing over the crib? Like,
yeah, so why wasn't he just the devil then, right? Yeah, he can't be doing both, right? Yeah.
Like, there's too much there. Again, from a, hey, who's the biggest draw match we can do? It's Swerve and MJF, arguably. But logically, it'd be like, what the? I don't know if that worked. There's a lot of plot holes. But we'll see. I'm now looking at the chat here too. Jeffrey Sills says, speaking about my point, I want that too. Speaking of Eddie Kingston, but I don't think that will happen. Eddie's focus is going to be the Triple Crown, which, yes, the World's End Continental Classic. We got some fun things going on there. He has to win this Saturday to, I believe, make it to the semis. And I think it's what is it? Eddie Kingston versus who is it this weekend? Now I can't think about it. I'll look that up. Buy me some time, Tim.
Yeah, but they did point that out too, that like, hey, his titles rest in the balance, right? They basically said they'll be vacated or something, like if he loses this and doesn't make the semis until the winner is crowned. So
it's Andrade. Yeah. It's Eddie Kingston versus Andrade. So he better.
Okay, so that's when he can win. Yeah, that's when he it's not like that's not an upset for him to beat Andrade, right? Like I think where he's enough at that level, he's been champion. I think we can say it's fair fight, so he should win that. I
hope. My God, I'm sure. Fuck off if Andrade beats Eddie Kingston. I'll spit on the ground. Piss me off. All right, let's get back into AEW Dynamite. We get into match 4. It is Roderick Strong versus Commander. And this is fun. I like Roderick Strong doing this thing where he's pointing out his next victim and then actually just beating him. Like he just beats his ass. We get one of the best end of heartaches that I've ever seen, where he throws Commander up. Commander does a flip and then chest right into the knees. Side note, check out ROH Final Battle if you can. The match for the new ROH World Television Championship was a elimination match. The last two was Kyle Fletcher and Commander. fucking great. You know, I'm not a moves guy, and this had no
Yeah.
story. It was just who's going to be champ. Spoiler alert, it's Kyle Fletcher, but it was fucking great. Very, very good.
Okay. Nice.
So
Nice,
anyhow,
nice.
Roderick Strong gets the victory
Yeah.
here. And then afterwards, Renee is in the ring, and you got the Kingdom stapling MJF is the devil all around the arena, right? Just MJF is the devil. MJF is the devil. And Renee is doing this interview, and she's like, Roddy, like, what's going on? And he does the Renee, you know, and okay. And then he goes, Joe needs to wake up and realize that MJF is the devil. Here's where,
signs.
yes. Well, here's where I don't get that, because he's already got the match, right? Like Samoa Joe already is going to face MJF at World's End. So why the fuck does he care who the devil is? Like, as long as he has his eye on MJF, you would think theoretically he's not going to get jumped by the devil. You know what I mean? So it's like,
and he would have figured that out by now. Like, how would MJF been pulling off devil activities with Samoa Joe standing guard?
Yeah. So, yeah, if there was some type of aspect where Samoa Joe needs to get this match, but the devil is the one that's holding this whole thing up, well, then Samoa Joe would need to know who the devil is. But like, he already has the match, so I don't know why he would even necessarily care. Like, I think he cares right now because he's saying, I need to make sure MJF isn't fucked up, because when I beat him up, I don't want any excuses. Like, that's
nobody
his
else
motivation.
is taking this title from him. It's me.
Exactly. Like, that's his motivation. But like, for him to be worried about like his safety, the way that Roddy's saying this, I don't know. It's not hitting with me. So I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see. But yeah, we get the staple of the signs everywhere.
Oh, the
MJF
neck
is the
strong,
devil.
like Adam Pearson says here in the chat. Yeah.
Neck the holidays.
Neck strong is great. Neck
By the way,
neck the halls.
neck the holidays. Neck the holidays.
Neck the holidays, yeah. He needs to start coming out with scarves that say neck
Oh.
strong.
Neck strong, neck the halls. Yeah. Try to
The
figure
neck
out something
strong
for
bracelets
Valentine's.
like the old Live Strong.
Oh, yes.
He might
make
get
it
sued on
yellow.
that one.
Nah, fuck him. Fuck Lance Armstrong.
Yeah, just it's a
He's
different
bitch.
shade of yellow. You don't fucking trademark yellow, dick.
Yeah, asshole. You cheated. All right, now let's get into the main event. This is match 5, and it is in the Continental Classic. John Moxley with 12 points. Go ahead.
We've got to discuss a conversation going in the chat. We have a sidebar.
Okay.
Jeffrey Sill said, Adam Pearson said he's in Utah in January and Sundance. If we want to come out, let him know. Also, to keep it on topic, how does Sting retire? And Jeffrey Sills later said Swerve should be the one who wrestles Sting because he never really lost at All In, which Adam Pearson says, no, I was there. He lost. And Jeffrey Sills is saying, check the tape. His dreads are hanging out. And man, I saw some dreads hanging out. I'm going to be honest. I saw some dreads hanging out.
So here's the discussion around that match, because Sting was in the coffin and they shut the door, but his baseball bat stopped the door from being fully shut.
Yeah, if the baseball bat stops it, that's an inanimate object that he's holding.
Right. And so if the idea is that the casket has to be 100% closed, then in fact, Swerve did not lose because his dread prevented the casket from closing. Now, on the other side of the argument is the referee makes the final call. So tough shit.
Yeah. Record book says he lost. Right.
The ref ended the match and said that Sting and Darby won. So look, right there could be the reason Swerve says, Sting, fuck you. You caused all of this shit, because that's the other thing too.
So now I'm going to end you.
Because go back to when Swerve approached Hangman and kind of started this ascension into what Swerve is today. The first thing he said is, I came out of that coffin and I'm refocused and I'm wanting everything that everyone said I can't have. And so then he could just pivot right to Sting and say, you caused this. So I'm ending
Put me in that coffin.
Yeah. And so now I'm putting you in the coffin, theoretically and physically, whatever.
Love it. Get in the chat, everybody. These are the fun conversations we have.
Yeah. But how would Sting retire? We'll take a quick side quest before we get in the main event. And then again, we've got our Dear Santa 3 wishes. So stay tuned for that as well. How would you do a Sting retirement, which is coming up in March? 3 months.
I feel like you have to do something with Darby, and man, I would write, and I don't think I would get Sting to play along with us. Maybe you would, but I would write Sting as the heel on the end, right? Like I would write him trying to be like, like, hey, I've got to give you one final lesson that I've been guiding you on here, and that is what my old buddy Steve Austin taught me is don't trust anybody or something, right? You know what I mean? Or Ric Flair, dirtiest player in the game, right? Don't trust anybody. Yeah. Boom, right? Yeah, and then Rick and Sting could be fucking, you know what I mean? Fucking flexing on this motherfucker.
Style.
Yeah, I would almost do that because that to me would be the more holy shit. And then fucking Darby, puts him out of his misery, right? Like you've had enough, old man. Skateboard to the throat.
Well, this is how I would do it. I would also have Darby Allin in the final match, but this is how I would do it. I would have backstage, Sting is just doing an interview with Renee. Oh, we're in, I don't know,
Poughkeepsie.
Yeah, some fucking southern town, Atlanta, Georgia, right? Why not? Atlanta, Georgia. You spend plenty of time here,
that is some southern town. Yeah.
Right, exactly. I live there. And so Sting and Renee are just doing an interview, right? And then you just have them do the regular interview, but you stay with it. Like you kind of like don't cut, but like the interview's over. And so Renee, like, thank you so much for the time, Sting. And Sting's like, of course. And then you still stay with the shot. And then you would have someone come up. I would have some middle card baby face that is just not thought of one way or the other. Kind of like a Trent. I love Trent, but you get what I'm saying? Someone in that realm. And just go, hey, Sting, man, that retirement match is coming up at Revolution. You've been hanging around Darby Allin so much. A lot of guys have been talking, we don't know who would win in that. And Sting's like, oh, that's a great question. And he's like, yeah, man, that would be really cool. And then he just walks off. And that's how you spark the conversation, right?
Yeah.
And then so week after week, first for like 3 weeks, you have people start talking. And Sting's like, hey, I'm hearing a lot of people thinking Darby and me should wrestle, and who would be the better one? Well, I'm the teacher, so maybe there's one more lesson I have for Darby. And Darby's like, it would be an honor, right? And so you just do babyface versus babyface. It's something that the locker room has said, all of this stuff, right? So then you do the match. Match. And then that's when Darby turns heel and skateboard to the asshole or something, that happens to Sting. Falls 1, 2, 3. His career's over, so he can't get the revenge.
Yeah, and everybody hates Darby forever.
Yeah. He retired.
Yeah, because everything's all this like kissy lovey, like we love everything you've ever been, Sting. Oh my God, like thank you so much. Fucking skateboard to the taint. Just
fucking Gaddafi's him. Remember Gaddafi?
Oh yeah. Okay, I'm giving Tom the pencil on this one. That's a good story.
If he yelled Gaddafi, that would be the best.
And we're not getting that. Oh, but goddamn.
But I mean, if he did something, if he did something to where, everything is up and up, and even you could have Flair, because this would be the cool thing. The little caveats, the little breadcrumbs throughout is. So you do the 3 weeks of, hey, everyone in the locker room thinks it's going to be Sting and Darby, and so Sting's like, hey, then let's just find out, right? It'll be a fun way to end the career. My favorite tag team partner, which he said, let's see who the better person is, right? So I don't know how many weeks would that be, but like, let's say there's 4 or 5 weeks.
Yeah.
So throughout that, Ric Flair is like talking to Sting. He's like, hey man, these kids today, like, they'll take you out if they have the chance. And Sting's like, oh yeah, no, I know. And he's like, no, man, like, remember when I kicked you out of the Horsemen?
Dog. Yeah.
Yeah, they'll do that to you today. Oh, okay. Yeah. Hey, Flair. Hey, buddy. Dirtiest player in the game.
It used to be back in the old days. You know what I mean? They're on the up of them.
Yeah.
They're not all trying to stab each other in the back, man.
Yeah. And then every so often, Ric Flair is saying these things of like, Sting, I mean, look at him. He paints half his face. That's fucking weird. These kids are weird today. You know what I mean? Like just talking down
See, he
on
wears
the
like tights under his jean shorts. It's
Yeah,
not
what the-
normal.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
weird, man.
Yeah. He missed a month because he wanted to climb a mountain. What the hell is up with that kid? You know, I wouldn't trust him.
That's weird.
You know, and then
Tattoo
yeah,
of like
and
fucking
yeah,
finger on
what
his
the hell is
face? What's
that?
up with that?
Yeah.
It's fucking weird.
and then the
Post Malone?
turn, and then you have the turn, and then I wouldn't have Flair like join.
Yeah, I
Darby.
showed
Wouldn't do
you.
that.
Yeah, no, just kind of be like, I tried to
Just
fucking
be like,
tell you.
Yeah, just I tried and hugs them, and they go off into the sunset. Right, we never see either one again because that's the other thing too. Let's get the fuck Flair out of here, right?
Yeah,
and
both
so
of them. Mm-hmm.
you know, I wouldn't mind Sting doing ambassador stuff for, you know, meet and greets and stuff like that. But I'm saying get Flair the fuck out of here.
I've always
So-
said, we've said this too. The council needs to be some of the old retired guys, right? When two guys like can't resolve something or whatever, they go see the council. And you just got random, whoever 3 dudes happen to be there that are, you know, 60 hanging out in the back locker room, and they're the council for that week, right? And then,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. You know, one thing that they do well with the Pure Championship that I think they could adopt for other matches is the 3 legends. Now, with ROH, like, no offense, but like, who the fuck cares about Christopher Daniels? I like him, but you get what I'm saying. He's not Sting. If he had Sting as a tiebreaker kind of judge kind of stuff, I mean, I wouldn't hate that sometimes.
What if you had one title that was specifically where a bunch of legends were a committee to determine who the number 1 contender is?
Exactly. Yeah.
And then you get the guys start having beef with some of these legends, like, what the fuck, man, right? And then maybe one of those legends is corrupt, right? And they're squeezing their guy in there, and you can tell all kinds of stories with that.
Do it with the TNT Championship too. The legends represent the network because you got the International Championship, you got whatever this Continental Classic bullshit thing is. So you can have your, you know, traditional ways of doing it, but the TNT Championship is like yeah, that'd be a great idea. I like that. All right, let's get back on track as we typically do. We get to the main event.
Yeah, we
It
we get back on track a lot because we get off track a lot, so then we get back on. We're always getting back on track.
Yeah, side quest, back on track, side quest.
Get back on track 17 times in an hour.
You never know. Try
That's
being
how
in
good
his
I am.
fucking head. Yeah, try being in his fucking head. Plenty
Dedicated,
of side
focused.
quests.
That's how
Yeah.
focused I am.
Yeah. All right. So we get John Moxley, 12 points, taking on Jay White, 9 points. And if Jay White wins, that means next week we get a triple threat between John Moxley, Swerve Strickland, and Jay White. And this, I thought, like I said at the start of this, I thought this was an upset. Jay White
Yeah, I agree.
gets the victory straight up. Now, not really straight up. There was a little bit of shenanigans. What was it? Was there like a, let me read it here. Blade Runner. There's a Blade Runner, but there was a folding chair, right? Jay White grabs a folding chair, slides down the ring.
how the thing went down? Yeah,
Yeah,
there
there
was
was
a little
some type-
shenanigans. Yeah.
Yeah, it was very similar to, so Jay White beat Roosh the same way with a low blow.
Yeah.
Then he tried to do it to Swerve Strickland. Swerve Strickland stopped it. But then this time it worked on John Moxley. John Moxley had a leg injury throughout too, which I thought was a good way to sell it. But yeah, we get the Blade Runner from Jay White. 1, 2, 3. Next week, Jay White, Swerve
Triple threat.
Strickland, John Moxley. What do you
Yeah.
think about that outcome?
My initial first thought was like, ugh, Jay White beats John Moxley. I don't like that. But I also immediately was like, yeah, but we can't have John Moxley as like the unbeatable, right? Nobody can beat him. If Jay White can't get John Moxley one time, especially if there was a little bit of shenanigans, then what are we even doing here, right? So this
Right.
is fine. And again, yeah, you add an extra guy into this thing, right? Like, yeah, this shouldn't be terrible.
Yeah. Now, breaking kayfabe, I think the reason is because Jay White's taking the pin. I don't think they want Swerve Strickland or John Moxley. John Moxley
That's
losing
probably
2
it.
weeks in a row, right? That would be kind of bad for the ace of AEW. And Swerve Strickland definitely can't
That's a
be
good
losing.
point. So now Jay
like
White,
that.
you get a victory over him, but you're going to take the pin.
You're going to take the pin.
And then John doesn't have to lose and Swerve goes on or
Right.
whatever, right? Yeah.
Now, we don't know what this is the Gold League, right? Yeah, we don't know what the
Yes,
Blue
they're the
League
Gold
final is, right? So we don't know what the
Right.
Blue League semis is.
It's going to be Eddie.
My guess
Fucking Eddie.
is it's a rematch. My guess is it's a rematch with Eddie Kingston, Bryan Danielson. I think after Bryan Danielson beat Eddie Kingston and grabbed that sign, which I do not think was a plan. I think it was just perfect timing where it said Eddie is a bum, and he just threw it onto Eddie. And then Eddie took that and said, everyone's getting fucking murdered because of Bryan Danielson. My logic would say that's the semis on that side. And then, as we already know with this, it's a triple threat.
Jeffrey Sill says Jay White is now 2-0 against Moxley. First beat him in the G1.
Oh.
G1.
Didn't
know that.
There you go. G1. I don't know what the G1 is.
There, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, sure.
It's the climax, the G1 climax. It's a tournament they do over there.
Oh, I know. I was just bullshitting.
Yeah. It's the Gatorade that with the, all right. The
side
G1.
note, we're going to get back on track. But side note, the other day I was watching,
I
was watching Pardon the Interruption. You know the show Pardon the Interruption, right? Fucking Mike Wilbon. Look, they're old. I get it. But this asshole, they're talking about the Chiefs and like, was their victory against the Patriots impressive, you know? And they're going, oh, I don't know, you know, all this stuff. But then Mike Wilbon goes, you know, what's his name that plays tight end and his girlfriend, I just have no interest in. And I'm like, you fucking asshole. You don't know, as a sports columnist, the greatest or second greatest tight end of all time. And arguably, just as a human, the most famous female. Like, fuck off. Like,
yeah.
That's such a, you know, that's what I do.
Even JR knows who they are.
Yeah. Yeah. He even said, I think he said,
he had Travis
John
Kelce
Moxley.
reference. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like Travis Kelce.
Like Travis. Yeah. Fuck yeah. And he
I love to then Excalibur was like, does that make Renee Paquette? He's like, never mind. No.
That's a good call out too. Yeah. Very good. All right. So we don't know the Gold League, right?
Jeffrey Sill says, I don't take opinions from someone who tucks in his jersey into his jeans. # Mike Wilbon.
Yeah. Oh, God. Yeah. Mike Wilbon. Just the worst. Just like.
Is that for really tucking the jersey into jeans?
Oh, he fucking threw out the first pitch at Wrigley Field in front of thousands of people with a customized Cubs jersey tucked into his jeans. Probably tucked into his underwear too, fucking nerd.
You tuck nothing into jeans. Like, I mean, there may be a situation, but like,
unless you're like at a, you know, you're having to wear a tie with
corporate events, right? Yeah. If they're like, you go jeans day or something, maybe you're tucking the polo in, maybe, but like,
that's it. Never.
Dog.
A
jersey. You tuck a jersey into nothing.
Yeah.
Never tuck a jersey.
So who you taking? We're going to do an early prediction on this one. You got the triple threat, Jay White, Swerve Strickland, Jon Moxley. Kind of told you my pick. I think Jay White's taking the pin. And I think I'll go first. I think Jon Moxley advances.
Because I think it's going to be Moxley Kingston.
That's what I
think Kingston's running the gauntlet through, you know, the BCC folks, right? Like he's going to.
Yeah. Oh, man. Oh. So does it end in heartbreak or does it end in triumph? Let's say we agree on that, right? Because the money is in the heartbreak, but the triumph is the moment.
Heartbreak with Moxley as the Triple Crown champion, the first ever Triple Crown champion. And he took Kingston's titles, and then Kingston's just fucking mental breakdown, a collapse from that. Is how I write it.
Yeah. I am excited though. Not even excited. I'm anxious, I should say, about what the fuck all this means. Because Tony Khan said next year we're going to do the Continental Classic again. But if you're the champion, then do you get like a bye, or do you just face the winner of the tournament because you're already the champion?
Yeah, because he's mentioned the Continental Classic Championship, which I'm assuming again is not defended other than this. It's
like the Owen Hart thing.
Might as well be a trophy.
Yeah, like the Owen Hart trophy.
I thought. And then, so can the Triple Crown be diluted? Can it be pulled apart ever? Because, those also, by the way, two different companies involved in this, right? There's a New Japan title.
Yeah, because if you're just in New Japan and you're like, I just want to be the open weight champion of New Japan, I don't give a fuck about America. Well, then that's the only title you want, right? Like
I don't know if this will always be a Triple Crown, maybe, is the feeling I'm getting. I'm just saying they're saying this year it's going to be Triple Crown until it's not. And then.
What I'm hoping is if it is Jon Moxley, which would be a pretty safe bet, right? Is that he says, I'm the Triple Crown. He goes off for a couple weeks. We don't see him in AEW. He loses from shenanigans the openweight championship to Kenta, right? So Kenta is your openweight champion in New Japan. And then at the next ROH pay-per-view, he's the heavyweight champion. He defends against what I think would be fucking awesome, Dalton Castle. Dalton Castle beats him because the boys interrupt. Dalton Castle's your heavyweight champion. And then at the next year, kind of like the Dynamite Diamond Ring, Jon Moxley's like, I'm here to defend my Continental Classic Championship.
Jeffrey Sill says Kingston wins because this is him fixing it for Renee and Mox finally goes on that vacation. However, Adam Pearson says, seriously? Tucking a jersey into your jeans? The last guy who did that was a former Subway spokesperson.
How'd that end for him?
Yeah. Don't want to be like that guy.
Yeah, what's that guy up to?
By the way, do you know the fraudulent nature of his claim ever before of his, like, I walk to Subway every day back and forth? He lived on the top part of a building that had a Subway on the bottom corner. So his walking consisted of him leaving his fucking motel-style door, walking down a flight of steps, and walking down to the same fucking building.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yes. And okay. Another thing, but
And
Subway,
he was a child fucking porn predator.
Well, yes, but also the other thing about Subway specifically is it's a fucking Lunchable. They're not healthy. It's all fucking styrofoam
Lunchables,
bread and sliced fucking government cheese and meats.
85% meat.
Yeah, fucking, of course. I love when people are like, I'm eating healthy. I'm having Subway today. I'm like, you're having a fucking Lunchable like an 8th grader? You fucking loser. Like, that's not healthy.
Yeah,
Fucking,
don't like it's fine. Eat your Subway. That's great. It's fine. Delicious, but don't call it healthy.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. If you're gonna eat it, fucking cool. I don't
kill
give
a
shit.
Subway sandwich right now, but
but if
I'm
you're
not calling it healthy.
Yeah, I'm not saying I'm on a diet. You know what I mean?
Yeah, keep slathering that mayonnaise on that thing, and let's call it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, keep putting the fucking Nerf style balls
like
into the
Chipotle
bread.
mayo.
Yeah,
yeah, the extra cheese, please. Meatball sub.
Well, that's what they do
healthy.
to keep the bread puffed up. Is they put the Nerf balls in there, and that's what keeps the freshness of the bread. That's why they fucking go.
Love it.
Hell yeah.
I'm gonna go get some Subway after this. All right.
I love that shit. Well, I do.
I'm gonna add this to
People
my
are
dear
like,
Santa list.
yeah, like people are talking about like Taco Bell isn't real food. I don't care. It goes in and out. That's all I need it to do. I'm hungry.
Yeah.
I'm not. It's out. I'm fine.
Look, I'm not saying I'm gonna eat it every day. I'm gonna eat it once in a while.
My wife is disgusted in me that I know the numbers on the fast food. I know what a number 6 is. It's 2 gorditas and a hard taco. She's like, why do you know that? I'm like, I fucking eat it all the time.
Yeah, because it's great. Yeah.
It's
because
awesome.
they put it on a sign right here. It's like,
Yeah.
you can easily
How am I
remember
not
it.
going to memorize things? I have a good brain. That's
So
what
I'm
it
sorry,
really
your
is.
memory recall is dwindling with your advanced age, but mine is still
Yeah, mine's great.
locked tight.
Mine's
Yeah.
fucking awesome.
Yeah.
All right, man. So
Memory
that
solid,
was-
still fucking lifting, fucking morning wood every day.
Everything happening for me. Everything is great for me. All right, so let's move on from AEW Dynamite and let's get into, Tim, our dear Santa. How you want to do this? You want to
Okay.
ping-pong it back and forth?
Yeah, and anybody in the chat, if you have some Christmas wish list, feel free to just throw them in here. We'll disperse them into the show. You know,
Adam Pearson throwing out his quick little prediction. He thinks we're going to get Moxley versus Ziggler for the ROH Heavyweight Championship.
Ziggler,
That would be
the
a
90-day
great idea.
competes are done. By the way, for that last crew, your Ziggler, your Mustafa. Obviously, Matt Riddle joined MLW. I think your Boogs was in that, right? Your Madcap Moss was in there. So these people will start. I don't want any of them in AEW, but maybe Ziggler. I could see Ziggler in AEW. But
ROH would be great. If you say, hey, we want people to buy subscriptions, if you put in Mustafa Ali and Ziggler over there, fucking awesome. Love that idea.
yeah, would love that. Yep. So yeah, sprinkle your wish list in the chat, and I'll go first with one here. We normally do 3 each.
Yep.
This one I feel like is pretty easy, and I'm hoping it's already in the bag. I hope Santa already. This is an easy gift for you. I want AEW to win the bidding war of 2024. Santa, please, I need MJF to re-sign with AEW
Oh my
coming
God.
up here.
Oh my God.
Got to do it. Has to do it.
Yes.
Has to do it. I don't think I can live without it. I don't know how it's going to go now.
I would not even want to see the bastardization of the MJF character in the PG fucking corporate bullshit of what WWE is.
Yeah.
Like, fuck that. That would
It
be
wouldn't be
such
the
a
same.
heartbreak.
He's one of the few that, like, okay, I would make me like, okay, I'm going to see what he does. Or like, I go watch and see what he does.
Of course.
Man, I just know how they do it. I know how they write.
Yeah.
And I
It
just,
would
like,
just-
I can't.
It would be so depressing. The people that
Not gonna
work
work.
over there are Cornball Cody, right? Cornball Cody was a star over there because he comes over to our fucking world. That's what
Yeah.
I'm talking about. I'm
Ever been to
doing the
Stamford,
tribalism.
Connecticut?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, but like he comes over into our world and he gets booed out of the fucking building because we're about that real shit, motherfucker. Eddie kicks
we're
him
rough
in
around
this
the
motherfucker.
edges over here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you go do the fucking I'm American, I've solved racism. Fuck that shit. Go over that fucking thing. Do a Make-A-Wish over there. Fuck that shit. I don't want that over here. Out of here. Fuck out of here. All right.
Fuck out of here.
But yes, I want that too. I co-sign on that one. All right. I'm kind of going to go with what I just talked about with ROH. This, I don't know how to exactly say it succinctly, so I'm going to say it and then I'll explain it. Separate. I want ROH and AEW to be separate. Like, if you want me to buy the ROH $9.99, make it because I don't fucking see these people. And you keep telling me that Dalton Castle's the shit and all these people, so that I have to go get it, right? I'm okay with the occasional super fight and John Moxley goes to Ring of Honor at a pay-per-view.
I don't
you know
even
what I mean?
hate sprinkling in some dual pay-per-views where you show me a couple of those ROH matches on the AEW pay-per-view if we don't have a couple solid stories or something. Like,
Yeah,
fine with
and
that.
vice versa. Kind of like at the final battle we did in honor of Jay Briscoe, BCC versus FTR and
Yep.
Mark Briscoe. Perfect, right? Like, that's okay. But I don't want to see, Samoa Joe when he was the Ring of Honor television champion. I didn't want to see him in AEW on Dynamite defending it. It's too convoluted. It's too fucking separate that stuff. Because then if you do have, like, Athena right now is killing it, right? She main evented the final battle. She hasn't been on AEW television, right? You keep building that up, building it up. And then lights go out. Her and Timeless Tony Storm come face to face. That's fucking a bigger
great.
deal.
Yeah.
But if you just have them kind of always in the same shows, it's too confusing and bullshit. So yeah, separate the fucking rosters.
Jeffrey Sills, he says to Dear Santa, he said, I want Tony Khan to bring Athena up to the big show and give her the big gold lady's belt. So he wants to just pluck her from ROH. Put her
Yeah.
in
Here's the thing. Again, I want ROH to be successful because I want guys like JD Drake to have a job. You know what I mean? And those types of
Mustafa
people.
Ali should go over there.
Mustafa
Somebody said
Ali.
that here in the chat. I think Jeffrey Sills also said that. Yeah, like be perfect.
Yeah, I want people like the Dark Order to, revamp and do some stuff down there, right? So my worry is if you take Athena out of the women's division, well, then who's Billy Starks isn't ready yet. You know what I mean? Like, so it would just be like, ooh, what do you got next? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, another one I got here is, Dear Santa, I would like us to dial up on the realistic details, right? We covered some of this last week. Can we get some real countouts? Like, let's get these countouts to be an actual goddamn 10 count, and let's count some people out, right? I like standings. We don't have to like rigidly live by them, because even in MMA, there's standings, but like the number 5 guy can battle the champion, right? They're the number 1, right? Like, they're just talking points. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, we need
Conor
realism.
McGregor. Yeah, Conor McGregor is not in the top 10, but if he comes back, he gets a title shot because
Gets a
he
title
sells the
shot,
most
right.
favorite. Yeah, like
Yeah, so like that, and then even into the production, right? Some small things here, right? Like, I don't need the like, well, we're out here fighting, and then like all of a sudden now we're just gonna have a match. Like you said, wasn't there a match scheduled, right? I need to see something happen about that. I need to see them moving things around, somebody getting mad because they get bumped. Just a little bit more in the realism that makes us feel like we're seeing a little bit behind the scenes of a real sports organization going on.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. I 100%. Yeah, because to your point a little bit as well as like, we always say high risk moves, but everyone seems to hit them. You know what I mean? Like no one's ever just missed it. Like I want, like you said, count outs to be a count out, high risk to fucking be a crash and burn. Like, yeah, I agree with you. I like that.
And give me something like, tell me these stakes are like, somebody's going to win a prize purse. Make up a number, like do something. Make it feel like something's on the line, that this is an actual thing, that these aren't just people that just show up and they're like, standing in the pool and they're like, all right, you get in here and maybe you get a title shot tonight. It was like, that makes no sense in my brain, right?
Yeah.
Like, this isn't how people would really operate.
Yeah. And you know, if you're going to say, for example, the winner of the Holiday Bash AEW Dynamite, the main event winner gets an extra $100,000. Don't make it just because someone's poor and they need the money. Fucking everyone won
Right,
$100,000, right? So
I know,
like,
they're prize fighters. That's what we're here for.
yeah, that's why they're fucking fighting. Because that's the thing that wrestling trope I kind of dislike is every time money's involved, it's because someone's down and out on their
Yeah,
luck.
they need the money, yeah.
Look, Sad Corbin was great, but like we don't always need to have everyone be Sad Corbin. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
right. All right. Okay, so my second one is they kind of did this a little bit and it made me excited. And then as soon as I got excited about it, they just fucking bailed. But I want AEW Rampage to have its own stories. So we did this with Santana and Ortiz, where it was only on Rampage. They're cutting promos on each other. And then their blow off match was on Rampage. And that was the story. Since then, not a fucking thing's been told, right? And so make Friday night a fucking thing. You know, like when I was a kid, not to fucking say one back in my day, but WCW Saturday Night had its own matches. They would have the Barbarian and Ming versus Fire and Ice, and they would wrestle like 3 weeks in a row. And then the winner of that would face Harlem Heat for the tag team championships, right? Like they would have stories out of those shows that would build to the next things. And so I'm tired, even though we're going into what, year 5, I think we got to stop with these, you know, Roderick Strong, which again is great, but Roderick Strong just beats someone on Rampage. I don't fucking care. Like I'm not tuning in just to see Roderick Strong beats. Like,
and that's what I mean. There's no realism involved in this. Like, why are they? If you're not telling me a standings exists, whether or not we adhere to them, if you're not telling me they exist, what are they wrestling for? You're not telling me that they win something. You're not telling me that they lose something. They're just doing it just to do it, just to be on TV. I guess it feels weird and just doesn't feel right. Doesn't feel normal.
Yeah.
Please,
and then please, Santa, dear Santa, with that. And also with the caveat too, just for me, start doing Rampage before Dynamite at the live shows, because then the crowd cares more. And then if you tell the stories, then the show is more interesting, because if it's taped, half these fucking dorks want to Dave Meltzer everything and read things before it actually happens. Fucking nerds. And so then they're not watching. But if you say the crowd's hot, and oh my God, the payoff of, you know, Billy Starks and Athena happens on Rampage, you might actually watch. So dear Santa on that.
Adam Pearson has a dear Santa. He says he would like Sasha Banks to be a surprise entrance in the Royal Rumble and win and get Sasha versus Rhea at Mania. And you know what? I hope that happens too, Tom, because then I don't have to see Sasha Banks, because I'm not.
Yes. 1,000,000%. I hope she goes over there and stays for her entire life. I just stays there. Just every show right there. WWE. Just don't go any other show.
I think Adam Pearce knows enough to know that we've never been Sasha Banks fans, but I don't know if he's been able to tune in enough to know that, like, we really don't watch a whole lot of WWE anymore. Rhea's good. I'll give you that. Rhea is good, but the programming they give the folks over there that are good is often lacking.
Did you see this? Adam Pearson, I think, gave us what Jeffrey Sills has called a Woj bomb. He said MJF re-signed in October.
Oh. How do you know that?
I don't know. How do you know that, Adam Pearson? Yeah. By the way, I have
because MJF just said he didn't. Now, again, is he working us? Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, is he? Yeah, that is true. By the way, I have such a stupid brain. I never know how to read that word. I don't know if that's resigned or re-signed.
No, so re-signed, like when someone
it could be either or, right? I know. I don't know. What does that mean?
I know, and it means two totally different things here.
Completely opposite things.
Chris Farrell in the chat, thanks for jumping in. He says, "I love the human duplex machine in the background." Yeah, human duplex machine. It's good stuff.
Yeah,
love it.
Jeffrey Sills, again, we'll get back into our Dear Santa, but we also want to join this conversation. The Top Flight and Action Andretti versus the Lucha Crew on Rampage. That was fun.
The ones they were saying was like the best triple thing they'd ever seen. Okay.
Yeah. Now, again, if you're new to this, we'll kind of fill you in. If you've been with us for a while, you probably know the Lucha style, just going to be completely honest with you, isn't necessarily like our bread and butter. We're not the most lucha people you're ever going to meet. However, those motherfuckers went off. And the thing is, you know, I was telling my wife this too, because I force her to watch all these shows while she reads a book, and I just yell at her. And she's like, I'm trying to read. I'm like, fucking, but here's this point I have about Eddie Kingston, you know.
Why?
Yeah. I'm like, oh, but this is so cool.
What are you doing?
You know, the one thing that I keep saying to her and to really anyone that'll listen to me is if you really want AEW to be different than WWE, because to one thing, WWE's credit is their main event picture is diverse, right? We have a Samoan as champion. Then we have Seth Rollins as our white guy. Then we have an Austrian and Gunther as our intercontinental champion. You know what I'm saying? What I think AEW needs to do is take advantage of their diversity and put Penta in the main event picture, put Swerve in the main event picture, put Keith Lee in the main event picture. Like people that just look different than white guy at 6'2". Like,
yeah,
I think that's what you need to do is put all those guys towards the top, and that'll separate you a little bit.
Jeffrey still says you guys need to do a watch along to one of the pay-per-views, and maybe that's something we should consider, right? Doing some live stream watch alongs, pay-per-views. Maybe that's
if you guys
rebrand at the beginning of the year, maybe.
Yeah, if you guys give us the audience, I for one will always join. I'll talk to myself for 2 hours. I usually do. Like I said, my wife hates me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think she hates me, but she definitely doesn't listen to me. So I'm just talking to myself as it is. So if you guys want that, we would love to do that.
We could definitely 100%. Do that. Chris Farrell here says, Dear Santa, I would like AEW World Champion Swerve Strickland next year. Hope that's not stomping on any of your toes because we've got one each left here.
Yep.
But Theo also says, any of you remember that Dolphin Twitter account that was giving out pay-per-view results? This is going back. This is like maybe 13, 14. And it was like, every time for like months on months on months. And WWE like was even in the news of like, they're trying to like test to see who the hell this person is. I wonder whatever became of that. Was that Adam Pearson?
Adam!
Yeah. All right. So for my final Dear Santa, I want a focus on more of these multi-threaded storylines like we've been getting with AEW, right? Where it's not again, we don't exist to shit on WWE, but like when they have everybody in a match, the storylines didn't thread each other. They just were like, you're all standing in a ring together. Mm-hmm. Fight it out. You guys are good guys. You guys are bad guys. No, what we're seeing here is Swerve and all the backstory with Hangman, or not Hangman, but like a MJF, right? But he's also hating Hangman, and like they're just crossing. Now Samoa Joe's squaring up to Swerve because he's like, this is my fucking property, and he's like, yeah, well, you touched my fucking property. Like more of this. As I said, we've gone enough of the People's Champion versus authority figure, right? Like we're done with that. I need more things like this. Clue, who done it, right? Like your Walking Dead things, like who's on which camp, right? And who's stabbing each other in the back, and who's getting ahead over somebody else and leaving somebody in the dust, right? Like, and all those sort of like coming back for revenge for deeds done wrong, that kind of stuff. We need more of that, more of these multi-threaded, deeper storylines.
Another great example that doesn't necessarily have like a who done it, but something that obviously we enjoyed a ton that had so many other tentacles a part of it was the Hangman downfall, right? So Hangman and Kenny Omega are the tag team champs, but then Hangman has this crisis of conscience that he doesn't think he's good enough, right? So then he essentially cost them the tag team championships to FTR because FTR takes advantage of his drinking problem. But then out of that, we get the dream match of FTR versus the Young Bucks. But then out of that, the Young Bucks hate Hangman for being such a shithead, so they kick him out of the Elite. Like all of those things, because it wasn't a whodunit, but it was all that's how we got this.
Multi-threaded, right?
Yeah. That was another story that I thought, obviously the thread was Hangman gets
but there's subplots, and all the subplots are tainted by who else is kind of involved, right?
Yes.
Again,
so
it's realistic. It's how the world works.
Well, and then it makes it more fun, right? Because one thing that AEW does, you can criticize them about, is sometimes they just say, "Here's a dream match," and it's like, why? It's like just cause, and it's like, okay. But when it was FTR versus the Young Bucks for the first time, it made sense because FTR took advantage of the Young Bucks' friend, who then they end up not liking because he turned into an alcoholic, right? But like, that's how we got there. And so more of that. Yeah, I 100% agree with you. So I'm going to kind of piggyback off that. And I'm going to say it. until it happens, because it's the number one thing I want to have happen in pro wrestling. And I don't care if no one else wants it. I want it. It's what I want. I think it's the best story. Tony, hire me. I'll write it. I probably already have it fucking written somewhere. But you gotta give me number one contender, Eddie Kingston, taking on your AEW World Heavyweight Champion, MJF, in a program, it's a spring break match.
Tonight on Collision.
Yeah, no, I'm talking they meet eye to eye, someone says something, and we get rolling into their backstories, and we get the fucking culmination at a pay-per-view. That is the fucking money. I can already, dude, just fucking think of a sit-down interview with Jim Ross, Eddie Kingston, and MJF. Just think of the three of them just fucking sitting there, because that's the best that Jim Ross is right now, is sitting there backstage, taped interview, right? You know what I mean? Not having him watch Kenny Omega get his ass beat.
Because what he does that like Renee can't do or RJ City is he can be like, oh, come on, that's bullshit, right? Like,
yeah, and
answer
he has
the fucking question. Right.
Yeah, and he has the authority of like, I'm the fucking OG in this shit.
Yeah, he'd be like, yeah, but you're lying, right? Like, come on, cut it out. What he said is true. Why don't you talk to that, right? Like, he can do that.
Yes, and so just the three of them sitting there, and then, oh my God. Because if you fuckers thought that CM Punk and MJF had a good back and forth, which credit to them, it was fun. Eddie Kingston, someone who could actually cut a promo and doesn't rip off Bret Hart. Fucking Jesus, man. Come on. Like, it's the best. It's already happened in my mind like 10 times.
I know. I know. Tom, we know you map it out with the action figures every day. You're over here like, and then he'll say,
then he'll sit right here and he'll go like this. And then I already have it ready. Look at it.
Yeah. No, it's good to have an outlet. So
and then he loses the championship and he's all bloody.
And he's bloody.
Goes, Eddie! Hey, yeah, see, you already got it.
Hire us, Tony. This has been fun, man. And Santa's good. I feel like we've been good boys and girls here in the Spanish Announce Table Nation. I think Santa's going to bring us everything we asked for and more. I think it's going to be a great new year, and we'll discuss the year that was. And some things to look forward to from the Spanish Announce Table.
Yeah, and also get your list ready. Again, we're not going to go too far out of the box, so already start thinking of your match of the year, your wrestler of the year. You know, obviously we know what the promo
of the year, right? Think of some ones you hated, right? We usually ask for worst, right?
We already know the promo of the year, Travis Kelce telling the mayor of Cincinnati to know your role, shut your mouth. That was the promo of the year. We already know that. So think of something else, you know.
Moment of the year was, Chiefs winning the Super Bowl. Everybody knows that.
Everybody knows that, yeah. So
weird how it's going to happen again, even though nobody can catch a pass, and they'll still win the Super Bowl.
It doesn't matter. Fucking, throw it to amputees. We're still going to fucking win the Super Bowl.
All right. So we'll be back next week. A lot of news you won't want to miss next week's episode as we talk about the future of this program right here. But until then, happy holidays to all, and we'll see you here next week.
The Spanish Announce Table.